What is up, everyone? Welcome to the February edition of the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons for 2024. We have 7 rounds of really killer gameplay to go through, so without further ado, let's get into our round 1 opponents. First up, we have William on a Goblins list that is not red-green, in fact red-white. Now, what is the white splash for, you're asking? Well, how about some Armageddons in the main board? In addition to that, he also has some disenchants, some circle protections, I'm assuming for the mirrors or for the slime matchups, and overall just a really cool looking list. I'm excited to see how this one plays. Besides those edits, it seems like it's mostly the same as a typical Goblins list. I do see some City of Brasses as well, which is also a little on the usual side, but overall super cool, and I can't wait to see how it performs. Next up, we have Joe on Reanimator, and this is a super sweet list. First off, because I think it is almost entirely in Japanese. I think Paradises are the only thing that are not, that I'm just seeing off the top of my head, but also has some really cool altars, signatures. Those unmasks by RK Post look fantastic. Overall, the list is super low to the ground and not running a ton of lands, really just trying to get out the big beaters as fast as possible. The strategy can be a little bit on the frail side, but also can just be super explosive and can run away with the game even as early as turn 1. Should be really cool to see these two match up. Both decks are trying to do something really explosive really early on, so without further ado, let's get into the games. And here we go. We got Will on the left and Joe on the right. We're gonna do a little bit of odd even here, and it looks like Joe's gonna go first. So like I said in the deck text, I think that as long as Joe can get that explosive start, he's gonna run away with the game. But Will's gonna definitely be providing pressure early on, and it looks like he does have a good mix of creatures and lands, so I imagine he's gonna be keeping. Joe, oh interesting, it looks like he had the Phantom Deshiba and a Reanimate spell, but is actually gonna put it back. Maybe must not have had a discard outlet or enough mana to make it go off. That is the tricky part for sure. You need a way to get your reanimation targets in the graveyard, and in the case of Joe's deck, it needs to happen very early, otherwise you're not doing much. So we'll see if we can get better 6 here. I do think the Reanimator deck mulligans very well, because you really do only need, you know, 3, maybe 4 key pieces, and can kind of go down to that. All right, looks like we got another Nishiba and a reanimation spell in hand, and 2 Lotus Petals, and I think maybe a Swamp. So it really comes down to, does he have the discard outlet? Getting Nishiba down that early would be backbreaking for the Goblins player. And it looks like he is keeping the 6, and yeah, I'm not sure I'm seeing any kind of discard outlet, unfortunately. So yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a Swamp and pass. And Will's just going to lead with a Mog and pass.
Oh, I messed up.
And there's definitely no reason to hurry up and play those Lotus Petals. You really only need to play it once game's ready to go, but still does not have a discard outlet, so it's just going to be another pass, and we're getting in for 1. And a pile driver is going to go down, so a real clock now starting to form on Will's side. And did Joe? No, he did not get a discard outlet or a land, and Will is just curving out here,
How much is this? So that's gonna be
swinging in for a boatload of damage.
I'm sorry, 8, because that's 5. Okay, and then that's 2, and that's 1.
Down to 11. Joe is really going to need an outlet here, and it does not look like he has found it. I think that might just be
Oh, this is such a good matchup.
a game over. At this point, you kind of wonder if you just scoop to avoid showing your opponent what you're on. And the real question then will come down to whether or not Will knows what Joe's playing just from last tournament, because I believe Joe played this last time as well. And yeah, that is game number 1. We're going to game number 2. Okay, here we are in game number 2. That was lightning fast. Joe not getting to do much at all, really just banking on getting the draw into a discard outlet. I think he ended up with like 3 Lotus Petals, 2 reanimation spells, and a creature. And I think that's just a instant mulligan for Joe. Unfortunately, the deck not treating him well today. And Will is just going to keep. All right, little fist bump for good luck. One of the best things about Premodern is how good a sports everyone is. Yes, we do try to play our best. Yes, it is semi-competitive, but everyone's really just here to have fun, play with friends, have a little too much beer. The usual good things. So, comes down to, is this a keepable 6 for Joe? And it is not. Going down to 5. Again, I think the deck mulligans very well. He really just needs enough mana for his sack outlet, his reanimation spell, or sorry, his discard outlet, not his sack outlet, his reanimation spell, and that's it. Once he gets that, I don't think there's much the Goblin deck can do. Ooh, but I did think I just saw a Tormod script. And yeah, it's the top card in Will's hand, and that is brutal. Especially with this mulligan to 5. This mulligan to 4. Oh no. This game might be over before it even starts, unfortunately. So Will did know what Joe was doing. I don't know if they talked beforehand or, like I said, Joe did bring this deck last time, but calling the deck off of just a single swamp is pretty crazy, because it could have just been a really bad keep on Joe's side, and not that he was just digging for the one piece he needed. Okay, looks like we did find a keepable hand finally. 3 going back though. All right, we got the discard outlet. We got the creature. And we got the animation target. Looks like there is a Phantom Toshiba in hand. And just trying to decide how many lands he is putting back. He did draw a lot of lands. And of course, we know that Will has that Tormod script, so timing this right is going to be... Oh, I'm sorry, is this actually a mulligan to 3? I thought we only mulliganed a couple times. I might have... No, okay, it is just down to 4. No, it is down to 3. Oh, I see what he's doing. Interesting. Okay, interesting, not keeping the discard outlet. I mean, I guess you have your spells to draw you into more things. And he did actually find a target, so now it really comes down to, does he have a reanimation spell in hand? But yeah, Will just gonna play out. Ooh, a lackey and a Tormod script go. Oh no, that is not good. And I don't think Joe has a reanimation spell, and I don't think it actually matters at this point either, because that Tormod script just gets cracked in response. I think you almost have to go for it though. Alright, Paint of Black. Let's go dig in for a little bit more. That's a Dark Ritual and another Toshiba. But unfortunately, no reanimation spell to bait out the crypt. And that lackey is going to be getting in, and what does Will have? Is that a second Tormod script too? Alright, City of Brass. How about a free Goblin? And then yet another one. Oh my. This is not looking good. What if all of your Goblins are 2 cheaper? How much quicker does that game go? And your opponent can't use the graveyard, which is what their deck's meant to do. And nope, that is just going to be game 2. That is a lightning fast. I think that's a record for the channel match. Great games by both players. Unfortunately, Joe just could not draw into the answers he needed, and Will, with the excellent call in sideboarding and keeping that hand with a Tormod's Crypt to just shut off the game plan from Joe. Well, thank you all for watching. There will be another video out this week because this one was so short. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss that. And there's 7 rounds this month, and then I already have next month recorded as well. So be on the lookout for that too. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.